All right, so let me say hello and welcome and give the official cheers to each and every one of you. Welcome to another edition of Happy Hour with the Lincoln. This is where I'll do my best to answer all of your stock market related questions, tell tales and rant about stock market topics, and of course share my 2 decades of trading experience with you, just so you can make a little bit more money, guys. Now, before I get started today, I've got a special announcement. No, wait a minute. It's not just special. It's ludicrously, stupendously special. That's how special it is. I bet you're just dying to know what it is. But some of you already know. Guys, it's that time of year. Not time for hearts and valentines. Not time for spring to show up. It is mini camp. Mini camp time. That's right. Mini camp. Guys, I love doing mini camps. Just did one a few months ago, do a couple of these a year. Got the new dates set, so we're going to be doing that here in a couple of weeks. So please join us. Now, guys, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, maybe you're new to the channel here, you just cruised by over the last couple of months, you wonder what the hell is this mini camp? Like I said, I love these. My favorite time of the year doing these. This is my favorite course, and I think it stands out above other kinds of courses that you see for a few different reasons. I'm not going to elaborate for a long time about it, but it's a live course. It's done in a really intimate setting. We teach everything about all the trading patterns, scanning, managing your money. So whether you're trading foreign currencies, cryptocurrencies, options, forex, stocks, it doesn't matter. All the strategies work with those instruments, whether you want to be a day trader, a momentum trader, a swing trader, or an investor. This class is geared to helping people get control of their finances and just be better. Regardless of what direction you choose to be as a trader or an investor, it makes you better, and it's all done in a live setting. Now, the other thing is every single one of these have been recorded, so all of you that enroll into the mini camp will get access to the complete data library. I think I've done a dozen of these so far, So there's a lot of recordings there on file that you can browse through. And like I always say, once a mini camper, always a mini camper. You can come back and take these forever each season I do it. So got people from season 1 coming back. It's just a great time. I put the dates and times, or I'll put a link on the screen here. You can check out the dates and times. So again, early bird enrollment special here. Get into that mini camp if you guys are serious about trading. It's that time, and I'm excited. I'm getting warmed up, and I'm ready to go. So let's get down to happy hour. What am I going to talk about this week? I'm going to talk about something here that maybe a lot of traders wouldn't talk about, and that is change. Change is hard, right? Change kind of sucks at first, but it's something that if we want to survive, not just in business or trading, but in the world, you've got to change. Nothing stays the same forever. As much as we would like it to, it just does not. And I know when it comes to trading strategies, there's a lot of traders that ride and die by their strategy. It's the holy grail. They wouldn't change it. Even if it stops working, they won't change it. Some will profess ludicrous. I've used that word twice already. Ludicrous stuff like it'll work forever. No, it doesn't work forever because the market isn't the same forever. And I know a lot of you saw the title, and it was How My Trading Saved 10 Years of My Life, or something along that line. And I come to believe that that statement is true. Now, a lot of you that have watched this have traded with me for a long time. Like I said, I'm now 2 decades into this, and I've gone through different types of phases in my trading career. When I first started out, it was all big board stocks for me the first go around. Then I switched into penny stocks and micro cap stocks. I had a stint with futures, had a stint with options, did a little foreign currency on the side, found a lot of success in just shorting regular stocks, and continued to do that for several years. And that's where I made most of my money. Now, there's no secret here, over the last couple of years, we've reached this epically ludicrous, I said it 3 times, ludicrous bull market. And the strategies that I was using in 15, 16, and part of 17 kind of changed. Now, what I'm going to show you here, and kind of get to the point what I'm talking about, is I'm going to show you a snippet from my journal here. And this is from the early parts of 2016. This was a typical day for me. I'd say anywhere between from 2011 up until early 2018 or something like that. This is about a typical day for me. And what I want you to focus on is not the gains here, but the amount of trades. So you can also see there's a lot of short sells. 90% of those are short sells. So my strategy then was basically 100% shorting. So what I would do is I would just kind of browse through the high of day list on stuff that went parabolic, as long as it wasn't earnings, it was just sort of some news clip or pump or something like that. I would look at these stocks that had run up aggressively in the mornings and I would short them. Now, most of the times I was a little bit early, so the position size that you're using, I'd start out with maybe 150 or 200, and then I would add, and I'd get into a good resistance zone. And this worked. As you can see, look at the win rate. I mean, there's like this is just 1 week. It's like one losing trade the whole week, 9 G's there in gains. The strategy worked. There was no question. Now, there definitely was a shift in market sentiment, the way the market operates. And I've done a lot of stuff about this, about algos. I'm not going to talk about that here. Go back and a couple of the happy hours I've done in the recent past. You'll know my thoughts and feelings about that. And this is what I'm talking about changing. The market itself changed. The way stock transactions were, the people, the participants, the algorithms, the whole philosophy about markets and people veering away from fundamentals and just buying things at random. Those things changed. And the important thing to understand about this is the market changes, and I can't do anything about that change. The only change we have power over is changing ourselves. So back on the topic, when I got into about 2017, I remember the market was ludicrously bullish 4 times. It was so bullish that in the early part of the year, it started to become harder. It wasn't that the strategy didn't work. It still worked, still produced great results, still had an outstanding year doing it. But I noticed that it became harder. And that where it became harder was the places where I would short, or when I would short these stocks and I'd start to see $1 retracements, $1.50 or $2 retracements, I suddenly realized they're not giving up but 30 cents. So you're kind of stacking in on this short, and then it fades 30 to 40 cents and just stops. Which came up with the slogan that we have in the trade room, a rampant camp. That somewhere out of nowhere, the market just stopped fading late in the day. Now, I know a lot of older time traders know what I'm talking about. There was a time, it's like almost every trader I knew faded the close. You just faded the close and faded the close, because that's normally what happened is day traders pulled profit from the market. Active traders pulled profit from the market towards the close, and you got fades. Well, that all changed with the 330 ramp up. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, things start changing. So again, the market changes and the strategy got harder. Now here becomes the change with me and facing facts in life and understanding that I'm a human being. And the best way for me to grow is to be honest with myself. We have got to be honest with ourselves. Now, I could be stubborn. And I could continue to fight this and continue to just live and die and say my strategy is holier than thou. I'll show you, market. I am not changing for nobody because I'm a freaking rebel. And I could still be making money with it. But it was harder. So let me tell you a little bit about this. Because the market was so ludicrously bullish during 2017, about midway through, I thought, man, every dip gets bought in this market religiously. I bet the best trade out there for a dip buy is just buying the E-minis, which is the SPY futures, just buying the S&P futures. Now, I used to trade futures back in like 2004 and 2005. So it kind of kept going on a little bit, and I said, you know what? I'm going to open up a futures account and start buying the dip. Now, I'm not randomly buying dips into support, dips into VWAP, dips into specific areas. I'm just going to pick up some dips. And at first it started out as a side hustle. Like, I'm just going to throw a couple of these in here whenever the market flushes. And I did that. So towards the end of the year, I'm like, man, I'm winning on all of these. So as 2018 came in, I started about halfway through 2018. I decided, you know what? Most of the times I'm winning on these. I'm going to take this and stop making it a side hustle and make it a part of my actual business. And I'm going to do it. So I did a little bit more of it. And so on. Even when we had that nice little reversal in December, I shorted some there. And then last year, I made it a staple. So going from 17 to mid 2018, it was just like a little side hustle. It was maybe 20% to 25% of my business. The following year, it got up towards like 40%. And last year, it accounted for about 70% of all my trades. Now today, it's almost every single day I take a futures trade. Now, the thing is, I noticed when I was doing this, the more I watched it, the more I realized this thing has some of the most ludicrously spectacular behavior. And it's a really nice instrument to trade. Now, it's not for everyone, and I'm not trying to sell you on trading futures. But what I'm saying here is this, and I'm simply trying to make a couple of different points. I could have kept on going this way, doing the shorting, and I was very good at it. And I loved it. It was a fun way to trade. It was a beautiful thing when you just tagged a short, it drops $4 on you. I love this. But things started changing. Algorithm program changing, dip buying changed, the whole way the complexity of the market changed, and they stopped working as well. They still work, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. They still worked, I could still do it, but it was harder. Then I noticed that trading the futures was easier for me. Not easy, but easier for me. It was more calm. So it's like now I'm going from what you see here, 6 trades, 7 trades a day, to 1, maybe 2. Now, I'm not necessarily knocking down those types of numbers either. I'm probably averaging 5K a week, maybe 6. I'm not doing the 9s and 10Ks, but it's easier. It's more comfortable. It's a lot less stressful, because there was one point there as the market got more ludicrously bullish, it just became easier. So again, I could have kept doing this, but I decided to change. And I changed not just for a financial reason. I changed for an emotional reason, for something that was a little smoother, a little easier, a little calmer, just to kind of slow down my day and not rack up. Now, back then, that was commission, so you had to pay commission on all of that, But it was just a simpler way to do it. Now, the moral of this, or the lesson in all of this, is a couple of things. And one is the human ego. It's very difficult for us sometimes to just change from anything, from long relationships, right? Or being creatures of habit, doing the same things over and over again, even when we know that it's better. The other moral is that we're not perfect, and life is a growing process. We don't have the answers. Nobody has all of the answers. Amazon started out as a bookstore and turns into what it is today. We all have to pivot throughout our future. What we might, maybe next year I wouldn't be trading futures, I'll be doing this again. I don't know, but I would be dumb. And I would hinder myself if I didn't continue to grow, or if I acted like I knew everything and I had all of the answers, and this was the only way to do something. That's just total stupidity. Because maybe something is easier and something is better. So to wrap it up, guys, it's all about change, and it's a hard thing to do. But if you're looking at something and you're like, you should always entertain the idea if there's an easier way, a better way, a smarter way, a more streamlined way. Because things change. When I first started trading stocks, they were in fractions. And the market's going to change. And because you are a participant in the market, the way business is done. When I first started, there was no such thing as social media. Now it's like everything. When you were like in 2001 and 2002 and people had to get dates on the internet, they were looked down on, like, what are you, something wrong with you? You can't get a date in your town. You got to go on the internet. Now it's like, I think that's the only way people meet is through the internet. So, I mean, this life changes, and you'll have to change too. And this change for me, maybe it's not as profitable as it was. It's pretty damn close. But boy, it's a lot easier. Helps me have good days and enjoy my whiskey. So guys, again, I want to thank you for watching this happy hour. Change. I went from a black shirt to a white shirt to make happy hour better, ludicrously better. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching this happy hour. Don't forget about Minicamp. You got comments, tips, questions, complaints, quarrels, whatever it is, send it my way. Support at thelincolnlist.com. Cheers.